A new implementation on Caddie 20 is the ability to use polar snaps or polar tracking. To explain that to you, we're going to have a look at the drawing in front of us. Now the gray area is an existing building. The green area that you see over there is an addition that we're going to add, as well as columns in front here. Now I'm going to try and do that without using construction lines. So I've got the same drawing there. Just the gray area, you can see the wall goes up 2 meters, 2.8 meters across, and then it goes down so it lines up with the screen wall on the right there, and then returning back to the existing building. So 2 meters up, 2.8 across. Let's see if we can do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my pen color to green. I'm going to draw the walls using the wall command from the AEC application. I'm going to draw an external 220 brick wall. I can enter its height, its origin, etc. Once I click on OK to that, I can indicate where I want the wall to start. So that is exactly as before. But now if I wanted to go 2 meters up, in the status bar at the bottom, you'll see there's a new icon, which if you click on that, turns the polar tracking or polar snaps on. Now as soon as I move my mouse into my drawing, you will see now it projects lines at 90-degree angles. That's the default polar tracking. Now if I move my mouse upwards, so I see the vertical polar projection, as long as I just hold my mouse in that direction, I can now just type 2000, in other words 2 meters, and press enter, and the wall will automatically be drawn up 2 meters. Now we know it needs to go 2.8 meters across. So once again, if I hold my mouse so that the drag is horizontal, I can just say 2.8 meters, press enter. And now I need it to go down so it lines up with the screen wall over there. Now the nice thing about polar tracking is I can now just move my mouse over that point. So I actually hover the mouse over that point, and you will see it now projects from that point, meaning I get an intersection there where I can just click. Once again, I can hover it over a point over there. It takes it up to that point, and I can go down, and there's my wall. So without using any construction lines or whatsoever, I can use the polar tracking to basically project any point from any other point that I hover over. Now in this case, what I'm going to try and do is take this window and I'm going to copy it into that wall. So I select the window, I simply copy it, and I can position it in that wall. Over here, a new feature that we've got, we'll get to it in another video as well, is we have the ability to convert the window to an opening. So once I convert that into an opening, I can select the opening, drag it to that side, drag it to that side, and then object properties I can use to change the color of that to, let's say, pen 9, and my line style I can change to something else, which means I've got the addition with the lintels indicated over there drawn using polar tracking. If we move on to something like this where I want to add those 440 by 440 columns, once again I can choose the wall style that I want to use. In this case it will be 110 brick wall. Once again, using your polar tracking, I can start there, I can track it up to that point, project it down. The same way I can go up to 40, I can go across to that point and back, and there I've got the column. And then obviously you can copy that to the top there, or you can just use the wall command to do exactly the same, projecting it up using your polar tracking. And that's how easy it is to project any points within a drawing onto any other position that you want to draw from. Another example that I'm going to show you is over here. Let's say you want to create a gable like that. This is what I want to achieve. Over here I've got just a rectangle. Now the polar tracking, as I've mentioned earlier, defaults to 90-degree projections. So if I go to my snap, I can go to polar snap settings, and as you can see from this, I can enable and disable polar tracking from here or at the status bar at the bottom. The increment angle is 90 degrees, but I can also add 30 degrees as a new additional angle, and obviously if you want to go down like that, the angle will be minus 30. So now I'm adding 30 and minus 30 to the additional angles as well, which simply means if I want to achieve something like that, I can use Caddie, start drawing lines from that point, hold my mouse in this direction and choose 500, press enter. Now you will see it projects 90 degrees and 30 degrees. So if I just hover my mouse over the 30-degree angle, I can go there. Once again, go up 300, go across to that point, go down where I can now project that point, go down 30 degrees, and then back to that point over there. So that is all achieved just by using the polar tracking. Now you can also see if you want to project a point over here, we've got a line, that diagonal line we want to project until it crosses the vertical line. That can also be done with a new command. So once I draw a line, obviously I need a point to start over here. So from your context sensitive menu, your additional snap modes, we've got the option in Caddie 20 now where you can snap to a line extension. Now all I do over there is I hover my mouse over that line, and you will see it projects that line down automatically. So once again, use that in conjunction with your polar tracking, meaning the line starts there, projects horizontally over there, and there you've got exactly the same as we've had before on the sample side of the drawing. Now if you're done with your additional polar snap angles, once again you can just go to your polar snap settings. You can remove those if you want to, or you can keep them if you want to retain them. And if you want to turn your polar tracking off, you can just switch it from the status bar at the bottom. Now just to show you another point where you can use your line extension snap. Let's say I've got a 3-meter line that I want to project onto the same length as the gray line at the top. Just using your grips, I can select that line. I can use the grip to move the line end. And once again, I can now use, in conjunction with our additional snap modes, line extension, hover over that line, and you will see it projects along that line. And once again, using that in conjunction with your polar tracking over there, and there's your line. The same can be done for dimensions. So once again, if I move that dimension grip point, I can either project it or snap to the line at the bottom. And that is how you can use your line extension snap along with your polar tracking or polar snapping to make things and work like that a lot easier and faster. Another option that we've got is the ability to move the cursor. Now once again, I'm just going to use this as an example. If I want to start drawing a line up here over there where that point and that point is where they intersect, I can draw a line, but in conjunction with your snap modes, your polar tracking, I can hover my mouse over there, hover my mouse over there, but let's say I don't want to start drawing the line from there. I want to start drawing it 1 meter to the right. So when I have my mouse on that position, I can now just press the equal sign on my keyboard, and it automatically moves my cursor to that point. So now I can type in 1 meter to the right using my keyboard input and the right arrow key, which means the line now starts 1 meter to the right from that point where I moved my mouse cursor to, and then I can use polar tracks and draw whatever I want to in any direction. So basically the equal sign now allows you to project, using your polar snaps, project any given points to a point. The equal sign then will move your cursor to that particular point, which means any command that you're busy with, you can now do from that specific point and continue in any direction that you want to. So you can see using polar tracking, snaps, projection, just a lot easier in Caddie 20. You don't always have to use the construction lines. Any other points that you hover over can be projected so that your general day-to-day production work is sped up as quickly as possible.